Greetings to you all. This is the T.H.E. Jupiter channel. I'm your host, Maxwell Becker, and also known as the Jupiter channel. Previous videos we've gotten into, what exactly I believe a Jupiter channel is, so I won't further discuss it here. However, I believe we all have the potential to be one. And I have to be honest with you, the last couple weeks, not so easy, not so much for this one, okay? Things that I felt just totally inherently that, okay, I got this. I gotta, almost to a level of a mastery of this, they've just kind of thrown out the window. It's important to note that the last time I produced a broadcast was on the election day in America. That was November 8th. And as we are today, it is December 23rd, 2016. And I just haven't been able to bring this out here. So what's changed? Well, the title of this show, I knew as soon as I was done with that broadcast and uploading it, and after everything played out the way that it did, because I thought Hillary was going to win, but that's the least of our problems right now. Okay? But the title, I knew was going to be the aftermath. This is the aftermath. And I want to take some time to revisit the card reading that I did on that day, because I think since things have come to light, it's very important to kind of analyze this, because it was so powerful, and I was right there on a couple of those points. But just more things had to reveal themselves. I'm not here to tell the future. I'm here to tell you through different various tools what energy is present and what that energy can cause in your life and how to navigate it. Again, the goal of this is not for me to on your own, and to truly approach this journey from the role of we're both students together. Maybe I can be a tutor to you, and maybe you can be a tutor to me. So without further ado, and again, I can explain to you my specific reading of the tarot cards that I do, how it works, but not at this time, not in this video. But it's based on a casino game that I work with. I am a pit supervisor along with a dealer. I've been in the casino business in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada for a long time now. So, I don't know. It's kind of where my head's at a lot, unfortunately. Not always a bundle of laughs working in a casino. It's one of the reasons I had to turn to spirituality of some sort. My vibration was getting too low. And the more I'm learning and the tools that I have to be able to access how to raise my vibration, I don't know how I was living without it for so long. But that's another discussion. Quickly, those cards. Okay, so based on the game of Baccarat, you have two sides. And last time, we had on the internal self, the player side, okay, we had these two cards. We had the High Priestess and the Page of Pentacles. Look at the High Priestess. The High Priestess, I spoke of a feminine energy, on that side. That is the ultimate feminine energy, and it is suppressed. I mean, the loss of Hillary Clinton, just this very, very bravado, masculine, don't look before we leap type of cavalier mentality that has come over the world. Not just because we elected Trump, but definitely considering our wisdom, considering our truths, considering the truth. Look at this election was decided largely to do with fake news stories. Okay? Truth to yourself has been severely compromised. And, this page, simply put, does not have the life experience, does not have the wherewithal, pretty gullible, thinking that his opportunity is just going to fall from the sky. So internally to us, and again, in the macrocosm of what was the U.S. presidential election, where are we not receiving correct information? Where are we allowing, just women's issues, equality issues? She sits between two pillars, the pillars of God, balanced. Where have we been since then? Okay? And that energy was a total of a 2. Within us, we're looking for that harmony. We're looking for that balance. We're looking for that union of two people. Two things. A relationship. We have to consider that this whole year, since October, Jupiter has been in Libra, expanding our focus on relationships. Focusing on how to find balance. So if Jupiter, the most powerful planet in Libra, which it's not great in, what the fuck? What's been wrong? Oh, my life, has taken considerable dives. In many, many sectors of one's life. And I will only be, real and honest with you to say that I couldn't put out a broadcast. Events in my life, I couldn't put out a broadcast. How do I channel? How do I get this to work when I'm not being able to apply it properly to work for myself? People have asked me that question at work, because when it does come up, I'm at work because it helps me get through the day. It helps me put on that bright, into, meeting thousands of strangers a month. Well, maybe close to but seriously, I come into contact with a lot of people face to face that are on vacation from all over the world. And I talk to people. And I see what other people are thinking. And for a moment, we have to be conscious of that. Yes, we need to stand up for ourselves. However, not having any pause, any sense of reflection, and just being the leader of the next leader of the free world. Yeah, I'm not a Trump supporter. Tweeting anything, where everyone takes things a million different ways, billions of people on the planet, and just it's all got a different energy in those words and in that vibration of what now gets sent out through the mass consciousness because of social media. It's the blessing and it's the curse. It's the fact that we are going through this Piscean age, okay, where it is all nebulous and collective in a cloud. iCloud, your OneDrive, just everything is just out there in a midst. But still, within that energy, we have our individuality, and everyone's reacting to it a different way. So now you have United States, still the most powerful country on the planet, and the next leader, it's causing a lot of fear. Just today, we're talking about nuclear proliferation. Not since, because I'm a little older, I'm not a millennial, I'm a Gen Xer, okay? And I'm old. Or a doctor and had a beeper. No one got a hold of you in 1987. And where are we now? So connected, so interlinked, but we're all still vibrating on our own individual pattern. And that's how the universe is supposed to work. So we had this 2 energy here. On the banker side, the force is against us. Not good stuff. I mean, you know, I should not assign good or bad. It just is. It just is. How do we navigate it? It's like a boat trying to swim through the currents. And let's try and do it together, because we're a safer boat that way. Bigger boat. You know, do you want to be in a storm in a 2-person canoe? Or do you want to be in a storm on an aircraft carrier? But on the banker side, and before we do that, let me just tell you, I have to go to work, and I have to, condense this broadcast, and hopefully I can keep it concise and to the point. But I have had so much trouble doing this video, and even when about an hour ago I was like, I should do a video. I'm feeling it today. Sun is sextiling the moon, by the way. Yesterday it wasn't. Or a day and a half, 2 days ago, we had the opposition of it. We just went through a solstice, and Mercury is in retrograde, where communication is inward. It's hard to get understood to everyone, and it's in Capricorn and all these structures. So me, in my disorganized self, which is a lot, okay, I'm a disorganized person. But it seemed that there was so much resistance against. I wanted to set up the right background because I've been thinking about what's that need to look like. Makeshift lighting, and then I'm like, oh, where are my tarot cards? And then, oh, I put them here, and then, oh no, I'm looking for it, and then I change my mind where I want to do this. It's like eating my time. We're all in this race against time, when some of us that are starting to shift don't want to feel time this way. I don't want to have to be at my job doing something that I no longer really feel is in my greatest good to do. Yeah, I don't want to be bound by time. I think time differently. I know that we can manipulate it, and having the clear head today, I'm going to manipulate it just right. So I have this intention that I will be at work on time. All right, back to the cards. So we had the Justice card, and I'm very male, very judicious, kind of representing that Jupiter expansive energy in Libra, okay, with the 11, which is the master number of service and healing, okay, so reduces to a 2 in Baccarat. What have we experienced with Justice? There's been more social unrest, and of course, external to us, and they just concluded that manhunt for the sworn ISIS allegiant that drove the bus into the Christmas market in Berlin. The other day, the day that we entered into this Mercury retrograde, look at what happened in the world. The Russian ambassador to Turkey was shot, assassinated on live television. As an empath, as a spiritual person, I was at a friend's house and we were watching this and we were talking about the news. And he's a good friend of mine and I honor and respect him a lot. But I'm older and I remember how things are, and I pay special attention to history and how the parallels that's the part of the world that started World War I. And the Ottoman Empire, Turkey, and just that whole region, and how for 100+ years now it's shaped everything, this cycling hiccup event. So Justice, we're on this manhunt for this man that shamelessly, and then to watch that assassination, 2 separate incidents on the same day, and a third incident when to rebel against Islam, we had in Switzerland a guy kill some people at a mosque or Islamic center. So Justice is external to us. This will not stand collectively. Maybe it's the wake-up call. We need these things in this terrible way to say it, to shake us from the fugue of things that we have done. And, choosing leaders that are ineffective at being able to relate with each other across the world, how does that serve our collective mass interest? Like I said before, with this whole thing with the nuclear proliferation now and Trump, I remember as a small child what it was like to be pre-Gorbachev Russia USA. That conflict, that height of the Cold War. And Ronald Reagan, I did not agree with all of his policies. I didn't, subscribe to that thought economically. Okay, well, I didn't really think I had a little bit of a sense, believe it or not. But I don't subscribe to it now, looking back what the last 30 years has done. However, I do have a respect for that president. That president was measured and strong and resolute and determined, but in sense, this gentle sense of, it's a new day in America. It's what the morning horizon on America, dawn or whatever he said at the inauguration in 1984 when he overwhelmingly got reelected. So Reagan instilled kind of a sense of peace and a calm, and we're going to be all right. We're going to win. We're going to be. I don't feel that now. He was measured. He was controlled. He was reserved. He had experience, actually, being governor of California. Going into a Russian state that was very isolationistic, very about their dogma, their communism, pre-Gorbachev. Mikhail Gorbachev made that all change and made them start talking. And it made that collective fear in the United States of Russia start to slowly melt away until the big break at the end of the 80s with the fall of the Berlin Wall. Just more and more, of the Eastern Bloc falling away, and Gorbachev's willingness to talk to the other side. We're looking for justice, and then, of course, as I've said, one of my least favorite cards in the tarot, the Five of Pentacles. Look at the walls, look at the isolation, that you can't get inside to where it's warm, where it's safe. We're making these walls. We've elected a leader that ran on a platform of building a wall. I'm saying, yes, we should have borders, and we're a country, and yeah, that's fine. Okay? Measured responses. Not inflammatory ones. And half of what he says and what he's going to do is bullshit anyway. And, sorry, alright, I'm going to predict this. We're going to have another major recession. Maybe not as bad as the last one, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen during Trump's first term. I think in his second or third year. Just is. Economics works like that. And watch all the hoopla that happens because of that. So we have walls separating us from justice. However, it is important to note that after the election, justice happened where Donald Trump had to settle his lawsuits for Trump University. So there's a real need, a desire to get out of the cold and to obtain what's right and what's fair and what's just. And that's in the outside energy. And we're buying into that and subscribing to that and making ourselves operate out of that type of energy. And that is the aftermath. That is the aftermath of all of this. And it's going to continue. It's going to continue for a while. So this energy of 7, which is always represented by the Chariot card, that path, that driving forward to, spirituality is a 7. energy. Look at how revered the number 7 is in, Judeo-Christian beliefs. So 7 versus the 2. Difference of a 5. But internally we're given an opportunity, playing the cards out this way in this game, to draw. And what did we draw? How do we move forward? By presenting our true emotional state. By owning up to our feelings. Right, wrong, indifferent. But being able to connect with those people and just say, listen, this is my truth. You may not accept it, but let's talk about it. And I will accept your truth. And in this Mercury retrograde, which is transpiring around Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa, all the way through the New Year, which brings a lot of craziness to the city and the industry that I work, Las Vegas. Everyone's in a party mode. Think of how many disturbances are going to be because people won't communicate correctly with each other. I'm waiting for it. The other day, I had someone running through my casino. And forgive my language, I'm a little salty today, but running through my casino on a cell phone, and I think he was probably well dressed, and I think he probably was one of our gamblers that has some status with the corporation that I work. He was running down the main aisle of the casino, and it's a smaller venue, yelling into his phone, "You fucking cunt! I'm gonna kill you!" He walked out the door, but that's happening in public right now. And whether I got the sense that he just went through a bad divorce or breakup with this woman. And, maybe the divorce, she's taking him for a ride, taking him to the cleaners. That's what I felt. And it felt gross to me. It felt just gross to me being in that environment with that. But what do? It's your truth. It's his truth. But what's a more appropriate way to express it? When are we reflective? Mercury in Capricorn. Mercury is trying to communicate in a practical way. Even if in retrograde, it's not that outwardly expressed. It's trying to communicate about the system, but it's communicating to yourself about your internal system, your internal guidance. Is it out of whack, or is it producing well-intended, well-meaning emotional results? So we drew the Knight of Cups. He doesn't look like he's ready for action. He wasn't strong enough. His truth wasn't strong enough to be bought in by all this desire for justice and separations. So the energy on that side, internally to us, remained at a 2, which caused the external energy to win 7-5, representing the 5. The 5. The unexpected car ride. The shit going wrong. Just rebellious, innovative, change agent. How many times have we heard change agent in our media now? Yeah. It was Trump's to win, and now he's won it. What are we going to do with that? It's not to be crazy and to, be overreactive and, try and leave the country, even though I kind of joke too. I've always wanted to live abroad. I really have. I've wanted to experience it as an American citizen, but I've wanted to live abroad. Actually, I'd like dual citizen, to be perfectly honest, like UK or something. That would be cool. Anyway. But, So what do we do with this in the aftermath? I've just kind of said, communicate honestly, communicate about your truth, allow your truth, set up environments, safe spaces, structures. Capricorn is about structures. Mercury is about communication. Safe structures to be able to practically communicate on how to move forward. And things are going to shift. Everything is a hiccup effect, and I've spoken about it before with this Uranus. I like Uranus. I'm trying to break the habit. Anyway, this Uranus-Pluto square, the same energy that occurred in the 60s, in the late 60s, when all that social revolution, change, war, everything was going on. We're in the same formation now, 90 degrees apart. And it hiccups, where it starts setting in, and then because of retrogrades, the planets move back, so they move out of phase and into phase, and it causes this ripple effect. So it starts hitting, stops for a while, and then it hits again a year later, and then it stops for a while, and then it hits again another year and a half later. And that's kind of what we've been going through. I know it in my life. I've experienced incredible personal loss in the last couple years, and I'm going through one as we speak. Someone very close to me is preparing for their transition, and they're not very spiritual. And I want to be able to help. And I wish I could help more, and I feel like at times I've hurt. And that's my truth. Part of the reason I shut down. But the Jupiter channel intention is cathartic for me to expand the energy outward to you all and start seeing where we can make opportunities for wealth, abundance, good fortune, just laughter, jovial. Jovial. Where do you think the word jovial comes from? The root, Latin Jove, Jupiter, Zeus. Ha 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 ha. It's a great energy to be a part of, and seeing little weird, quirky little psychic things start happening at the tables that I deal at or the tables that I go around. Yeah, it gives me a charge, but it gives me more of a charge because it makes them happy. I want to make people happy, but not in a pushover kind of way, just to expand that energy outward. I was told the other night at one of my circles that I go to, which I feel like I've been having a tough time going to recently, and experiencing those people and having them, and they're very insightful, very psychic, very talented, gifted people, but to, tell me I can drain the energy out of a room, which I can, but I give it back. I have the capacity to give it back. To see in my life that I've withdrawn and people have kind of separated away from me, and I've been living a very solitary existence, are things that I have to go through and reflect on. But very much I want people in my life, important people. And that's changing right now. This Pluto in Capricorn period, Pluto, transformation, life and death, and the underworld in this, your structures, your traditions, your prisons, your my fair share, and I'm surprised me that that's how this perfect sense to me. But in my life are going to change, and I need to find truly admire and respect, David Palmer, about the gears of a clock. You have one that's moving clockwise and then one moving counterclockwise. And that's kind of this Saturn Neptune thing that we've also kind of experienced, timelessness versus father time. Chronos. That square, that's kind of what we're going through. I get lost in thinking that I have so much time left with this person that I with them. Be in the moment, be present. Try and get to those loving conversations with the people. But David Palmer, he was talking about we're in the end of Pisces and we're moving into, and it's a very long progression, and it started before 2012, but moving into the age of Aquarius. All those steps until the end of Pluto and Aquarius. Die till you're just left with your and your soul's progression. That's kind of my life. He about Pluto going into Aquarius. That's when the Aquarian age would start, and that made perfect sense to me. Also been squaring Pluto, the Alpha, the biggest planet, versus the Omega, the smallest planet, Pluto. Zeus versus Hades. Huge metamorphosis. Pisces is crossing that threshold. something causing that friction. All right. So Sakura, what does the energy feel like now? Back everyone.
So the question is, how do we always remain in the question? How do we be of most service, not only to others, but to ourselves? I would like to be your guide. And if you're in the greater Las Vegas area, please contact me if you're interested in learning more about the spiritual practices of Reiki, Access Consciousness, or the shamanic path. I'm Maxwell Becker, and you can reach me at thejupiterchannel@gmail.com. That's T.H.E. Jupiterchannel@gmail.com to book your consultation.
Welcome back. I'm Maxwell Becker, and you're tuned into the T.H.E. Jupiter channel. As promised, we came back from break, and now we're going to do our integrative energetic forecast. As I'm pulling these cards, it's important to note that this card popped out. So I wanted to isolate it for a moment, and I wanted for everyone to consider, what is this card? The Hanged Man. The Hanged Man, representing the 12 card, which is a 3 energy. How do we create? How do we inspire? Type of thing. Well, it's ironic. Look at everything that's going on, as I spoke about before, in my life, your life, the world. We have to change our perspective. His light is upside down. It's not apparent. It's if we, once we've turned upside down and had the rug taken out from under us, do we truly examine? Do we truly, see the light? Do we see the truth? Do we see the wisdom? Sometimes it takes the blood rushing to our head, putting us in a perilous situation, like I said. So I think it's important that we isolate this card, because I believe it has some service, and it has an energy of a 3. So now I'm going to go ahead and reveal the cards. And to see what the energy looks like now. That was awful, I know. I'm just going to do it the old-fashioned way. I'm still experimenting with this, so just kind of, roll with it for a minute. But we have the 7 of Wands in reverse. 7 of Wands in reverse. So, I think it means that, we're either not standing our ground as much, we're perhaps unsure, unsteady, so we're not ready so much to plant our flag on anything with everything that has transpired in the recent energies, in the recent weeks. So, as a collective, we're maybe a little bit more willing to just, okay, all right, I didn't think you were serious. All right, let's cooler heads prevail and not stick the fork in anything and plant our flags. I think for a lot of us, that's coming up. And that has the energy of a 7. And it's kind of further enhanced by this Knight of Swords energy. Our ideas, we're not ready in a Mercury retrograde to really go forward with our ideas and how we're going to, do all this stuff. We're unsure. People misunderstand us all the time. So I think we're very cognizant with that 7 energy of spirituality that we need to hold back. We pressed full forward, full steam ahead for a long time in October and into November, and you know, now we're examining, now we're looking, what has that done to us? As everything goes into results-oriented Capricorn. I mean, we've had Venus go through it, we've had Mars go through it, Pluto's in it, you know, Mercury's in it right now, Saturn's going to come into it in a year or so, then Jupiter, oh my God. You know, so we're in an examination time, and we're standing firm with this 7 energy. And what's external to ourselves? What's external to ourselves? It's very good. It's I would say, for those people, because here's the crux. Here's how it goes. Internally, we're feeling like shit right now. I know I am. We don't know. We don't have a pot to piss in, some of us. We don't, know if it's a safe ledge. Just things are, you need a new roof unexpectedly. All those type of things are coming up. Emotional things, Look, I mean, I didn't have a Thanksgiving with anyone, but examine some of your Thanksgivings. What was talked about at the table? Who's fighting with who now? So we really don't know where we stand really well with people with this 7 energy. But look at this. These 2 external cards, and I would challenge all of those that are willing to consider themselves and their behaviors over the last several months, or their whole life, but really take a good look at where they need to go spiritually. You get this externally to you. The 10 of Cups. The pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. Emotionally, it's just joyous. It's just celebratory. You made it. You made it. Everything is good. Everything is, I don't know if I can truly, for me, it's hard for me to remember a time like this, but it's out there. We just have to be willing to consider that it's out there and know that it's attainable. That energy of love and happiness. With this, the 7 of Pentacles, that are businesses, that are enterprises, that are creations on the earth, our manifestory ability that routed in spirituality, that we're able to properly discern what can be plucked, what can be utilized at this time, what seeds do we still need to sow? This is the very wise farmer, the very experienced farmer. It's how this civilization has been able to proliferate for, thousands and thousands of years. It's taken these people, not just literally, but figuratively. How do we cultivate our resources appropriately? What do we have going for us? What still needs to ripen? What's ready? And guess what? The 10 on this side plus the 7 on this side, both right side up, another 7 energy. So in the game of Baccarat, 7-7 is a tie. No one wins, no one loses. I think it's important to start looking at life more that way, removing the polarity, looking at this internal and external balance of energy that comes through the aftermath of what we've just been through. All right, so that was your integrative energetic forecast, and my name's Maxwell Becker, and you are on the T.H.E. Jupiter channel. Until next time, peace and greetings and eternal happiness throughout this holiday season and into 2017. And make it the best you can. Until next time, goodbye for now.